Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. Today we'll be exploring the wonders of Algeria. We'll be using this travel guide titled Wonders of Algeria, a traveler's guide to its natural and cultural beauty as our source material. And I have to say, just skimming through it, it seems like Algeria is really a country that has it all. You've got the vast Sahara Desert and ancient Roman ruins and vibrant coastal cities.
Yeah, it's true. Algeria often gets overlooked, but it really is a hidden gem with so much to offer. And it's a country of remarkable contrasts, too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, geographically speaking, how would you describe what makes Algeria so unique?
Well, for starters, it's the largest country in Africa.
Hmm.
And that size translates into incredible diversity. You can go from trekking through the Sahara Desert to hiking in the Atlas Mountains to swimming in the Mediterranean Sea, all in one country.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just about the landscapes, right? This guide also hints at a rich cultural tapestry as well. I mean, we're talking about a place that's been shaped by Berber Arab and even Roman influences.
Exactly. And you see those influences woven into everything from the architecture and the cuisine to the music and festivals. For example, you can find these intricate mosaics and grand arches from the Roman era alongside mosques and traditional Berber villages.
It's like a fusion of history and cultures. How has that mix of influences shaped the Algerian identity?
That's a great question. While there's definitely a shared Algerian identity, the cultural landscape is also quite nuanced. You have these distinct Berber communities, particularly in the mountainous regions, that have held onto their language and traditions for centuries. And of course, the Arab influence is strong, particularly in the language and religion. But overall, there's this sense of unity and diversity, which I find really fascinating.
Yeah, it sounds like a really unique blend. Okay, so we've talked about the overall picture of Algeria. But this deep dive wouldn't be complete without exploring some of the specific wonders that make it so special. I think it's safe to say that the Sahara Desert is a major draw for many travelers. What can you tell us about the Algerian Sahara beyond, those stereotypical images of endless sand dunes?
Well, the Sahara is definitely a highlight, but it's so much more than just sand dunes. You have rocky plateaus, canyons, hidden oases, and even mountain ranges like the Hoggar Mountains, which are volcanic in origin.
Volcanic mountains in the Sahara, that's not what I pictured at all.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And even within the desert landscape, there's incredible diversity. You have regions like the Tasli Najer National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its otherworldly rock formations and prehistoric rock art.
Oh, speaking of Tasli Najer, I'm really curious about the rock art there. The guide mentions it briefly, but I'm hoping you can paint a more vivid picture for us. What kind of art are we talking about? I mean, what does it tell us about the people who lived there thousands of years ago?
Oh, it's not just a few doodles on a cave wall. Taslin Ajer is home to one of the most significant collections of prehistoric rock art in the world, with thousands of paintings and engravings dating back as far as 8000 BC. And the art itself is incredibly diverse, depicting everything from animals and hunting scenes to everyday life and even abstract symbols.
So it's really a window into their world, their beliefs, their way of life.
Exactly. And by studying the different styles and motifs, archaeologists have been able to piece together a fascinating narrative of how these ancient cultures lived, adapted to their environment, and interacted with each other over millennia.
Wow, so it's like a visual history book,
It really is.
revealing the evolution of human life in the Sahara. It makes you realize that the Sahara wasn't always this desolate landscape. It was once a place teeming with life and culture.
Right. And those traces of ancient life are still there, waiting to be discovered. For example, in the Hoggar Mountains, you can find engravings of elephants and giraffes, indicating that the Sahara was once a much greener, more hospitable environment.
It's amazing to think about those animals roaming through that landscape. But aside from the rock art, what else draws travelers to the Algerian Sahara? Is it just about the scenery?
Well, the scenery is definitely breathtaking, especially the sunsets over the sand dunes. But it's also about the experience, the sense of adventure and discovery. Many travelers come to trek through the desert on camels, explore hidden oases, and connect with the nomadic cultures that still thrive in this harsh environment.
And speaking of nomadic cultures, the guide mentions the Tuareg people. What role do they play in the cultural tapestry of the Sahara?
Well, the Tuareg are often referred to as the blue people because of the indigo dye they use in their clothing, which sometimes stains their skin. They've been navigating the Sahara for centuries, and their knowledge of the desert is unparalleled. They've traditionally been traders and herders, adapting to the harsh conditions with remarkable resilience.
It's fascinating to think about their way of life.
Yeah.
So different from our own. And I imagine their connection to the desert is profound, almost spiritual.
It is. For the Tuareg, the desert is not just a landscape, it's a way of life, a source of identity and pride. And that deep connection to their environment is something that many travelers find inspiring and humbling.
Okay, so we've got this vast and varied Sahara with ancient rock art, unique rock formations, and a rich nomadic culture. But I'm sensing that there's even more to discover in this region. What about these oasis towns that I keep reading about? Are they just stops for weary travelers, or do they offer something more?
Oh, oasis towns are much more than just pit stops. They're vibrant hubs of life and culture, each with its own unique character and history. Some, like Tamanrasset, are bustling towns with markets and modern amenities. Others, like Timimon, are smaller and more traditional, offering a glimpse into a slower pace of life.
Timimon. What's special about this particular oasis town?
Well, Timimon is known for its red-hued architecture, built from mud brick and palm tree trunks, which blend beautifully with the surrounding desert landscape. It's a photographer's dream. But beyond the aesthetics, Timimon offers a chance to experience authentic Saharan life.
So it's not just about the visuals, it's about immersing yourself in the culture.
Absolutely. Imagine wandering through the narrow streets of Timimon's old town, exploring the local market, and sipping mint tea with the locals. It's a chance to step back in time and experience the warmth and hospitality of the Saharan people.
It sounds like a perfect blend of history, culture, and natural beauty. But let's be honest, the desert can be intense, especially for those of us not used to the heat. I'm guessing there are moments when even the most intrepid traveler might crave a change of scenery. Does Algeria offer something different? Perhaps something a bit more temperate?
Oh, absolutely. We've only just begun to explore the wonders of Algeria, and there's a whole other world waiting for us along the Mediterranean coast. But that's a story for another part of our deep dive.
All right, I can't wait to hear about it. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after a short break. All right, I'm ready for that change of scenery you mentioned. Let's dive into those coastal wonders of Algeria.
Yeah, from the vast desert to the sparkling Mediterranean. Algeria truly has something for everyone.
Just thinking about those turquoise waters and charming coastal towns is such a welcome contrast to all that desert heat. What's the overall vibe like along the Algerian coast?
Imagine a blend of Mediterranean charm with a distinctly North African flair. You've got beautiful beaches, bustling ports, and cities steeped in history and culture.
The guide mentions Algiers, Oran, and Annaba as must-see coastal cities. What sets each of them apart?
Well, Algiers, the capital city, is known as the White City because of its stunning whitewashed buildings that kind of cascade down the hillsides towards the sea.
Yeah, those photos in the guide are breathtaking. I can see why they call it the White City. What's it like to actually wander through the streets of Algiers, though?
It's a sensory experience. Imagine bustling markets filled with spices and colorful textiles, the aroma of freshly baked bread and strong coffee, the sounds of traditional music blending with the calls to prayer.
I can almost hear the seagulls now. What about the historical side of Algiers? The guide mentions a UNESCO World Heritage Site called the Casbah.
The Kasbah is a must-see. It's this labyrinth of narrow, winding streets and ancient houses that date back centuries. It's like stepping back in time with hidden courtyards, traditional craft shops, and stunning views overlooking the city and the sea.
It makes me think of those classic films set in North Africa. You know, the mysterious alleyways and that sense of adventure around every corner. Okay, so Algiers has that historic charm, but what about Oran? What kind of vibe does it have?
Oran is known for its lively atmosphere and its strong connection to music, particularly Rai music. Imagine strolling along the waterfront promenade with the sounds of Rai filling the air and enjoying some fresh seafood at one of the many restaurants overlooking the Mediterranean.
I love that Oran has its own distinct musical identity. It seems like music is really woven into the fabric of Algerian culture, no matter where you go.
You're absolutely right. Music is an integral part of life in Algeria. And speaking of vibrant cultural experiences, Annaba has a unique offering with its ancient Roman ruins.
Oh, yes. The guide mentions Hippo Regius. I'm always fascinated by Roman history. What's left to see at this particular site?
Hippo Regius is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it was once a thriving Roman city. You can explore the ruins of basilicas, temples, and even a theater imagining the grandeur of Roman civilization that once flourished on Algerian soil.
It's amazing to think how the Romans left their mark all across North Africa. But let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about the cultural and historical side of the coast, but I'm guessing Algeria also boasts some stunning beaches, right?
Absolutely. The Algerian coastline stretches for over 1,200 kilometers, and it's dotted with beautiful beaches from secluded coves to long stretches of golden sand.
Okay, now you're really speaking my language.
Yeah.
Any beaches in particular that stand out?
Well, if you're looking for that classic Mediterranean beach experience with crystal clear waters and soft sand, head to the beaches around Oran. And for something a bit more secluded and off the beaten path, the beaches near Annaba and the Kabylie region are known for their natural beauty.
I love having options. So we've got bustling cities, ancient ruins, and idyllic beaches. But I'm sensing that there's a deeper layer to explore here, something beyond the typical tourist attractions. The guide hints at a vibrant and ancient indigenous culture, the Berber culture. What can you tell us about the role of Berber culture in coastal Algeria?
The Berber people are the indigenous inhabitants of North Africa, and their presence in Algeria dates back millennia. While their culture is woven throughout the country, it's particularly strong in the coastal Kabylie region.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What makes the Kabylie region such a stronghold of Berber culture?
Well, geographically, the Kabylie region is mountainous and somewhat isolated, which allowed the Berber people to maintain their traditions and language, even in the face of various invasions and influences over the centuries.
So they really held on to their identity even amidst all that change. What are some of the key elements of Berber culture that travelers might experience in the Kabylie region?
Imagine exploring picturesque villages perched on hillsides, listening to traditional Berber music with its distinctive rhythms and instruments, and witnessing colorful festivals that celebrate Berber identity. You might even learn a few words of Tamazight, the Berber language.
It sounds like a truly immersive experience, a chance to connect with a culture that has such deep roots in this land. But I'm wondering about the architecture. The guide shows these fascinating photos of fortified villages called Sour. What can you tell us about them?
Saur, which is the plural of Ksar, are a testament to the ingenuity and adaptability of the Berber people. They're essentially fortified villages built with mud brick, often perched on hilltops for strategic defense.
Yeah, those photos in the guide are incredible. The way they blend into the landscape is just remarkable. What's it like to actually explore one of these Sour?
Imagine wandering through narrow, labyrinthine streets with houses built close together, creating a sense of community and protection. You'll often find a central mosque, communal spaces, and even underground granaries designed to store grain in times of scarcity.
It's like a glimpse into a completely different way of life, shaped by centuries of tradition and the need to adapt to a challenging environment. But I'm curious about the role of Knawer in modern Algerian society. Are they simply historical relics, or do they still serve a purpose?
While some Kasauer are indeed historical sites preserved for their architectural and cultural significance, but others are still inhabited with families carrying on the traditions of their ancestors. It's a fascinating blend of the ancient and the modern, a reminder that even in a rapidly changing world, cultural heritage can endure.
Okay, so we've got this rich tapestry of Berber culture woven into the fabric of coastal Algeria. But I'm realizing that we haven't even touched on another aspect of Algerian culture that I'm eager to learn more about: the festivals and celebrations. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you as a must-experience event for travelers?
Well, Algeria has a vibrant festival scene that celebrates everything from religious holidays to cultural traditions and artistic expressions. But one event that really captures the soul of the Sahara is the annual festival in Tamanrasset.
Tamanrasset. We've already talked about it in terms of its gateway to the Sahara status. But now it seems like a cultural hub as well. What makes this festival so special?
Imagine a kaleidoscope of colors, music, and dance with people from different Tuareg communities coming together to celebrate their shared heritage. You'll see camel races, traditional music performances, and vibrant displays of Tuareg crafts. It's a chance to witness the energy and resilience of a culture that thrives in one of the harshest environments on Earth.
That sounds like an unforgettable experience, a chance to connect with the heart and soul of the Sahara. But I'm curious, is this festival primarily for the Tuareg people, or is it open to travelers as well?
While it's rooted in Tuareg traditions, the festival in Tamanrasset welcomes visitors from all over the world. It's a chance for cultural exchange, a way for the Tuareg people to share their customs and traditions with a wider audience.
It's amazing how a festival can act as a bridge between cultures, allowing us to connect on a human level despite our differences. But shifting gears a bit, I'm wondering about the practicalities of traveling in Algeria, particularly for those of us who aren't seasoned adventurers. What kind of advice would you give to first-time visitors, especially when it comes to transportation and navigating the country?
Well, Algeria is a large and diverse country, so having a well-planned itinerary is essential. And while public transportation is available, renting a car can give you more flexibility, especially if you want to explore off the beaten path.
Okay, good to know. But I'm picturing those winding mountain roads and the vastness of the Sahara. Is driving in Algeria a challenge, especially for foreigners?
Road conditions can vary, and driving in the Sahara can be challenging, especially during the hottest months. It's important to be prepared, have a reliable vehicle, and carry plenty of water.
Those are wise words of caution. So a well-stocked car and a sense of adventure are key. But what about safety? Is Algeria a safe country for travelers?
Like any destination, it's important to be aware of your surroundings and take basic precautions. But overall, Algeria is a safe country, and the people are known for their hospitality.
That's reassuring to hear. So a bit of common sense and an open mind go a long way. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm wondering about something that's been nagging at me. We've talked about the beauty and the history of Algeria, but what about the modern-day realities? What's it like for the people who live there?
That's an important question, and it's one that deserves its own exploration. Algeria has a complex and fascinating history, and its people have faced various challenges and triumphs over the years. But that's a conversation for another time, perhaps a deep dive into the socio-political landscape of Algeria.
Okay, I'm already adding that to our list of future deep dives.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm feeling so inspired to experience the wonders of Algeria firsthand. The mix of cultures, the stunning landscapes, the ancient history. It's a destination that truly offers something for everyone.
And that's what makes it so captivating. Algeria invites you to delve deeper, to go beyond the surface and discover its hidden gems, its rich traditions, and the warmth of its people. It's a journey that will stay with you long after you've left its shores.
I can't wait to experience